imagine that you have a book coming out next year. Practical steps I would start doing. There's a very good chance that the editors of the journals in which your poems were published may not have heard from you in a while. So first things first, I'll start communicating with them again, start developing that relationship. If that's hard to do, I'll do one a day. If that's hard to do, then I would draft an email a day and then send it tomorrow. There's this idea, again, a common concept is that, like, if you have trouble flossing, then try to just start by flossing one tooth every day. Because what's going to happen? You're like, I'm not just going to stop at one tooth. You know what I mean? But start with like a small goal. Just like, today I'm going to draft an email to send to an editor that published my poem. Okay? Other things you should do. There are poets out there that have inspired your work. Just send them a message to say, hey, you inspired my work. Start a conversation. Whether it's be like, okay, today I'm going to send a message to one poet I admire. Do different, levels of poet. You could do the big names, but you could also do, reach out to like small name, like I won't say like small name, but like people getting those emerging quote unquote poets, right? Like you can see them in journals all the time, right? You can see emerging poet, right? Start building connections with them. We need to start getting word out about it. So what's one way you could do that? You could do that with, for instance, your clothes. So for instance, there's a company called Spreadshop where you can create a design. So maybe you could take a line from your poem that you like. You can make that into like a transparent file. You can comment if you don't know how to do that. We'll go through the process.
And Fiverr is here for the rest of us.
Fiverr is also there for facts. Take a line from your poem. Go to spreadshop.com, make a Spreadshop. And then what happens is they can put that design on coffee mugs. They can put that design on shirts. They can do that on like kids onesies. They can put it, there's so many products. They can do buttons. They can do stickers and things like that. Start your own merch shop. It's free. People buy the stuff. It's not going to be a lot. You get like $2. You know what I mean? But you didn't have to buy the shirt, ship the shirt. You don't have to worry about any of that. They handle all of that logistical side of business for you. You can create broadsides. Take a poem. Get like some A4 paper.
Some good cardstock.
Yeah, some good cardstock. Even better, get an artist friend. Start building your network. Get an artist friend. It's like, hey, I have this poem. Can you design something around this? Let's split whatever we sell, 50-50. You could try selling at like coffee shops. You can do all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? I think another thing is audience. So for instance, one thing I'm doing right now, I'm in a competition with a friend. I want my work to be sustainable for me. So we're doing a test. We're seeing how can we incorporate poetry in a way that starts bringing us some income on the side. So it's not just sitting there. So one thing I'm doing, I'm creating a book that it goes through instructions for how to make different coffee drinks. For each coffee drink, in addition to the instructions, I then write a haiku that's inspired by the coffee drink. So now I'm almost done with this collection that's going to have the instructions. It's going to have a haiku based on the instructions. I'll probably make a quick drawing of each coffee drink. I can print that off at a coffee shop. I can print that off at a print shop for probably like $5, a copy. I can go to coffee shops and say, hey, can I sell this at your coffee shop? Why am I choosing this? I'm choosing this because I'm thinking about audience. The haikus are inspired by coffee. The instructions are about coffee. We're targeting people who drink coffee, specifically people who drink coffee at a coffee shop. I'm targeting these people because what do I imagine my typical person who frequents a coffee shop to be like? I imagine that they are educated people who, they may not necessarily read a lot, but they like the idea of reading.
They have some books there that are props.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They want to feel, they are educated and they want to feel educated. They want to feel cultured. Poetry is like, oh my gosh, this poetry is so sophisticated. But I don't want to read a really long poem because I'm not really into poetry.
Because I'm writing my own novel in the coffee
right,
shop.
Or I'm coding at the coffee, or I'm doing everything. But I like the concept of poetry. I like the idea. It sounds nice, right? So what's an accessible poem form for that person? Haiku. You know what I mean? And this is, I'm not saying that do this, but sure, do your own model in your own city. Go for that. But the thing I want you to start considering too is audience. Jimmy, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. what's your obsession? What's something that comes a lot in your poetry? Give me a topic. What do you?
Love death. I'm obsessed.
That is a very poet answer to a real ass question.
I was hoping for something a little bit more concrete, but okay, no, it's good. Let's roll. Okay, so let's say
let's roll with that.
Let's roll with this. So death poems.
We all write them. Let's not act like we don't.
You know,
come on now.
I mean, one thing you could actually try doing is you could legit reach out to newspapers and be like, hey, for your obituary section, I was wondering if I could do like a test column and just send you a poem to include in the obituary section of your paper. I don't know what they'll say. They might be like, that's a crazy idea. That's wild.
No. But like to hold people, right?
This is to
hold just people.
Try things out, experiment. We want to be like respectful.
I'm gonna keep it a band though, right? Like of course, like we're like, oh, like we're trying to like monetize off. No, it's not that, right? It's like people will.
We're trying to connect.
We're trying to connect, and also it's just like, don't act like you haven't been at the graveyard and there was nothing there to hold you.
Also, because otherwise you have these poems about death, but who's reading your poems about death? Other poets. But how can we reach other people? Death is something that everyone experiences.
Let's build off of that, right? So we just spoke about the person who has a book coming out in a year. I'm going to talk to the person whose book has been out for a year. And you can we can go from like the Robin Cost Lewis's, you can look that person up, to someone who's like, yo, this book won this prize and it's been a year and nothing is happening and the fanfare has died down.
Black body amnesia, which is a lot about death.
Facts. Black body amnesia. Cop that. Now what? You're like, well, I don't have anything there. I don't have my rollout's complete. No, it's not.
Just got
because
started,
I promise you, and I don't care who you are, that you can be the big homie Roger Reeves and just got the Griffin Prize. Check out all that person, King Me and Best Barbarian. But I promise you that it's likely that you feel like aspects of your work were not received and dealt with the critical care and focus that you're considering. Everyone talks about the book. We love the book. You ask them what they love about the book, the poem, what the poem means to them. And then you can bring up, and if everyone's bringing up the same 5 poems and you're like, this wasn't a 5-poem book. This wasn't a single poem book. All right, now what? Because it's like, all right, cool. Like I have the accreditation. I have an academy on my side. I got my people bigging me up. I'm having a moment, but the moment is not coming with understanding. If your book's been out for a year, you know what the subject is in there. You know what those poems are that people think they know about. There are a lot of poems that people think they know about that they don't quite get. And the poems that are there that are connected by theme and topic. And you can open those things open for people. It's already been published.
Yep.
There's no embargo, right? The book's there. They can go cop the book. Grab all the poems that are pulling on the same threads and spend the next year telling the story of those poems. Break them down.